We're back again. As you can see, I don't really make very many single color items. We've just got, this is my garment stack 2025. It's actually like, I did less than last year, which I'm proud of. I actually want to knit less in 2026. I know, that's crazy. And then here, this isn't all of the socks that I made. This is just like, this is the majority of the socks. These are the socks that have stayed in my house. So it goes winter, spring, Christmas in July, summer, fall, Christmas, actual Christmas. So, oh, I didn't think this through. Where am I gonna sit? I cast this on I think New Year's Day or New Year's Eve 2025. And so this is the Tessellated Pullover by Andrea Mowry. The main blue is Wonderland Frost. The boucle is Knit Picks. And then the multicolored one in it is Goosey Fibers Pleiades. So I've got a sport weight as the base, and then 2 different fingering weights in the sweater, which is a little bit different than the pattern says, but the total combined weight of it is like the same. I actually wore this yesterday. It got really warm last spring. I think I finished this maybe in February. It's like, it was so, oh, it's snowing. How magical. It was like, I matched my walls. Look at that. It was like very cold in January and February when I was working on this, and then like the day after I finished it, it got pretty warm. And it didn't really let up from there, and it was super warm at work, like our heat. Our heat was broken. Not broken. Our heat was like intentionally not working at my main job office for a lot of the year. We had no air conditioning all summer while they were reinstalling the new stuff, so like I didn't get to wear as much wool to my office as like I usually would have because it was too warm in there for a lot of the year. I love the fit of this. It's nice and cropped. It's nice and boxy in the shoulders, which I like. It's really beautiful and I'm really happy with it. There we go. I have rotated us so that we have better lighting. This is my Advent project. It's from the Advent that I opened in 2024, which is the Goosey Fibers. Now we are 6. It's the final Winnie the Pooh themed Advent that they dyed. This is made out of 21 colors from that. There were some really bright pinks in the middle that I removed, and I used them to like redo a different like project that we're gonna see later. This is one of my absolute faves. It works year round. It's nice winter colors. I mean, it's just a nice like pastel and like, it's just a nice rainbow fade. It is so beautiful. And the pattern is the Strata sweater by Hannah Singleton. I made a Strava blanket, so I'm getting confused. I love how the pickup from here goes. I think I actually did the pickup wrong. I was also changing the way the colors were to try and get the stripes to match, but this is, it just, when you block it, it comes off the shoulder, and I wanted to include these colors in the sleeve, so it ended up, I mean, obviously the sleeve is way longer than the body, so I wasn't gonna stop the other colors here and like start over. So yeah, this has a lot of ends, like kind of a, I think they're on this side actually. It has kind of like a really crazy amount of ends. Especially like in the arm. I wove in like some of it, but not necessarily all of it. I tried to weave them in as I went along. So this was the second sweater that I finished. These sweaters took a while. I think I got like maybe a little bit burned out on sweaters after that. I didn't end up making that many garments this year. I've really been trying to wear what I have. So that I know why I like it. Some of the stuff I've worn in the last couple weeks, people at work have acted like they've never seen it before. They're like, did you just make that? So that's a red flag to me that I'm not wearing my knits enough. So I'm trying to wear them like all the time. This one I do wear a lot. I have, it looks good with these pants. I have orange pants and olive green pants that it looks good with. It looks good with jeans. It looks good with black. It looks good with, like, just literally everything. And I really like these colors on me, so I'm very, very happy with this one. It's so comfortable. After that, I made a baby blanket, the Lee blanket pattern for my nephew who was born in March. It's by Kate Oates. I don't know how she says her name. Sorry, Kate. I might have a picture of it. I just bought like a 300-gram ball of like striped yarn, and I just knit the pattern until I ran out of yarn. It was really boring. Not because the pattern is boring. I mean, when you make a blanket, you want it to be kind of boring, but because I'd already made it before, and I had forgotten how to make it, so like the minute I got to the pattern again and I had cast it on and done the ribbing, the minute I started the pattern, I was like, oh, no, this is still memorized in the back of my brain and I don't want to do it again, but it was too late. So yeah, I mean, it's acrylic, it's washable, it's for a baby. There's not a lot to say about that. After that, I had gotten this ball of yarn on Reddit. It's called Devoted is the color name. I had to pull these off of the drying rack, so they're a little bit damp. These are my socks. I made a lot of this design in 2024 as well. I've made this pattern like 6 or 8 times. It's probably my most popular pattern sock. So it is a cable-y, but these are mock cables. So it's a pretty simple cable pattern just on the leg, and when you get to the foot, it's ribbed on top. But what I like to do is I like to continue the mock cable that's just on the side. So most of it I turn into rib, but then the mock cables on the side of the foot I keep as mock cables. This is the beginning of my struggle with pooling. Look at that pooling. It's literally just striped. Isn't that crazy? This is my struggle with pooling on socks this year. I've found that the way I wind balls, even if I rewind them and try and wind them super loosely, if I knit a sock from the front and the sock from the back of it, the tension is a little bit different from the way I wind the balls, which I really need to figure out how to fix that because it's so frustrating. And I'll get one sock that pools and one that, like, doesn't. And that's happened to me a lot, and it's slowly driving me mad. I think I probably should just knit more solid colored socks so that you can actually see the pattern and not have all your socks be like chaos, be like so variegated that you can't even see the pattern really. So I do love these. The dyer has retired and I don't remember their name. They were out of Colorado. Why can't I remember their name? I'll put it on the screen. The dyer is no longer dyeing, and this is from, I don't think I have any of the tags here. This is from their 2021 February shop birthday collection, and I have a February birthday, so I was working on these on my birthday, and then pretty soon after that, I used some of the leftovers to make the leftovers from that sweater as well, and I think one of the balls from the Advent, and then some other miscellaneous leftovers. I made myself this like winter headband and glove set. I needed to have a headband for when I have my hair up in a clip. Then I can put the headband around my ears and keep my hair up in the clip. So I made myself this headband. I've been using it a lot already this winter. It got really cold really, really early here in Wisconsin this winter. I'm sure if you're in the northern United States, you've been experiencing the same thing. I made these like super mismatched gloves. No pattern for them. There's a rib on, it starts with a rib on the cuffs, and then I did a bunch of increases on the thumbs. So I increased to make like a thumb gusset, and then when I picked up I ended up doing like back and forth rows after the thumb, and then I ended up picking up in the hole and knitting back and forth to make like another gusset on this side of the thumb, and it's a lot less holey than a lot of other glove and mitten patterns are in the thumb area, so I'm pretty happy with that. I don't notice like the fingertips at all anymore because when I just release to drive usually, they're holding up really well considering that they're meant to survive Wisconsin winters. And knitting the fingers one at a time was like a little bit annoying. It was really hard to graft the tips because I use a Finchley graft on my socks, and I had to turn each finger I had to turn inside out in order to graft the tips of these. I remember that being really annoying. But this is a really beautiful result, and now I have like a whole matching set. Like I can wear the socks, I can wear all these together and have like a matching set of socks and then a winter set. I don't have a matching scarf because I only had one ball of that, and I have so many different neck warmers that I really don't need more. The next pair of socks, I started these for my husband. I think I made them mostly in February. It has some kind of interesting cast on. I remember liking the look of the cast on, but it was a lot of work. I ended up making these. This is my first and only ever test knit. I think I saw the test knit on Reddit. They're the Beverly socks, and let me get the designer's name for you. Conley Kinkead. They're a pretty chill patterned sock. They just have this kind of honeycombish like slip stitch thing on the front, just on the top, just on the front of the sock. I ended up making an 80 stitch version for my husband out of this green BFL yarn that we got on our vacation the previous fall. We were in London. So this is British yarn, and he wears them. As far as I know, he does really like them. I stole them from his side of the closet to show them to you, so I'm gonna go ahead and like put those back. Then I made a headband and a hat out of like a pastel blue and like hot pink leftover yarns, like a heavy fingering, I would say heavy fingering weight. And I donated those to my local yarn store for an organization that gives them to LGBT youth. So that was fun. And after those two brioche headbands, I was like, I'm not doing brioche like almost ever again. There's a little bit of brioche in my Stephen West project later. Next, I made my aunt the same Beverly socks, but in like a real size, because I figured I should test the actual size. In this brown yarn, it's a very autumny color. Her birthday's in March, so it's this brown with reddish and gray tints in it. So next I made those socks. I gave them to her, so I don't have them anymore. And then this is by the same designer as the Moose and Lichen socks, which I should have said the designer's name. That designer's name is Marie Christine Levesque, MCL Designs. And then I made this pattern by her, which I've been wanting to do for a long time. These are actually brioche cuffs as well. I don't remember if this is the one where I did half brioche. It looks like it might be half brioche instead of full brioche, or maybe my mom's are the ones that I did half brioche instead. These cuffs are so incredibly stretchy. I had to thread some elastic into the top of them so that they don't completely fall off my foot. They're really beautiful design. I would just size down all the way to like a 0, or size down to like some sewing needles maybe. I'm exaggerating. But for the cuff, I don't know how I could get the cuff to be loose enough for me. I don't think I did this with this one, but I think with my mom's I might have cast on like a smaller number of stitches and done like a half brioche. But they're so beautiful. They have a picot, and then they have brioche, and then they have this little like lace moment. And then there's just like a nice little like knit and purl pattern on top of the foot. You can see I've worn these a lot. They're like very, very, very fuzzy. And I ended up running out of the yellow yarns completely, and so I had to do gray on the toes. These are one of my most neutral pairs of socks, so that is really, really, really handy. And then my third pair of socks for me, and a lot of these ends are coming out. I wear these a lot as well. I made myself matching Advent socks to go with my sweater. Luckily, I had a spare leftover orange yarn that I was able to use for both of these cuffs and then for all of the heel and the ribbing on these socks as well, because all of this ribbing from these two projects is way more than 20 grams. I think it's more like 35 or 40 grams total if I had to guess. So it's just like a couple rows of each color. I had to weave in a lot of ends, and then I didn't have any orange left for the foot, and or I was trying to use up all my pinks on the foot, I think. So it's cute that these match. Sometimes I do wear them at the same time. I wear these a lot. Again, they go with literally everything. They look seasonal all year round because they've got these like spring colors, but they also have the orange. Next, I made my brother a duck out of lots of leftovers. The pattern is by Claire Garland. It's a mallard. It's a boy duck. He's just absolutely adorable. I have some videos from last spring of me making the duck if you'd like to see more of him. But I was obsessed. That was just like a 3-day project. It was so much fun. I think I probably should make more toys, more stuffed animals, more decor, and more like 3D objects in 2026 because I always have fun. It's a good way to use up leftovers. It's one thing to wear a lot of yarn, but once you have enough knits that you can wear them all the time, at that point, I think the next step is to fill your house with yarn. The next project I can't keep on very long because this is alpaca and I'm very sensitive to alpaca. This is a present I ended up making for my sister-in-law because as I was making it, I was like, I can't wear this. The alpaca is bothering me a lot. There's 2 leftovers down here. The color work is so beautiful. All my other friends are jealous, and this was so much fun. I think I might make another friend one of these, or maybe I'll make us like all matching ones, but all like in our own colors, and then mine not out of alpaca. So this is Roman alpaca. I love the boat neck, just like open rib on the top of it. I love the pops of color on the inside of the little cap sleeve. It's nice and boxy. She's a similar size to me, but taller, and I think this, it's more cropped on her, but I think it works. So, Caitlin Hunter, Novelli, Boyland Knitworks. I used up the scrap from my, Pleiades scrap from the first sweater I showed, the blue and, the fuzzy one. And then this blue, doesn't have any nylon in it, so I decided not to use it for socks. And so it ended up being a part of like a couple other projects. Instead, here it is close up. So pretty. This color work is like absolutely to die for. It's really, really gorgeous. So I recommend the pattern. Really, really nice and really beautiful. So in 2024, I made myself this t-shirt out of the 12 set of minis, Goosey Fiber Dahlia Advent. They had one that summer. And I knit a t-shirt that was way too tight, so I ended up ripping back all the way to after the, I think I had to redo the end of the arm, actually. That's in my compilation video of, like, fixing stuff I made mistakes on. So in the spring and summer, I went crazy fixing a whole bunch of mistakes. You know what? You're in my way. You're in my way. So now it fits a lot better. It is too, like, gapey around the waist here. And then the color work obviously is tighter, but I used up a ton of scraps with this. I ended up using all the pinks from my Advent are like in this middle section here. And I used them in order to add some length to it because I actually didn't have enough yarn to make this the first time that I made it. And then I ended up having to change the color work completely to accommodate how I had a larger stitch count the second time around. So yeah, I still don't wear this a lot. It's very much like a spring item in my mind, so I think I'm going to, try and wear it more this spring. Yeah, the top of it, I think I just copied the pattern from the flax sweater, and it's about a worsted gauge because it's fingering weight held double. So you like transition one color at a time to get this nice marled fade. And yeah, not a lot to say about that, but I'm really pleased that I went back and fixed it so that I could actually wear it now. Next, I made my friend a ferret for a cosplay that she was participating in, and she carried it around in her purse. Picture here. I adapted a Claire Garland beginner's kitten pattern, and I made it longer, and I changed the shape of the legs so that it would be more ferret-like. The only thing I was really unhappy with was the face. I'm not much of an embroiderer. I'm not really that much of a stuffed animal maker, and so I ended up, like, I was on a time crunch, and I had to just do the best that I could. So, that was that. For my mom's birthday, this would have been in April, so we're up to April by now. I made her the Rosai socks, but I'm pretty sure I made the cuffs a lot tighter and did like a half brioche. And I think I made them out of these two colors. They're kind of like Monet-inspired colors. Oh, my lighting is really bad still. They're like a lighter and then a more medium, like blue-green. I might have a photo of those. I don't know. I showed them in person in my spring video. So any of these socks, like if you're a sock person, you really want to see my socks, you can just go back and scroll through that video and just look at them if you'd like. Sorry I don't have them with me, but that's how it goes when you give socks to people. This next pattern I'm gonna have to show. It's this, it's the multicolored green yarn from the middle of this blanket here, the one with the pink flecks in it. I made a cowl, and again, this was made pretty fast to mail to someone. So someone who my husband manages for his job, she's younger than me, she's in her 20s. She had a really, not stage 1, like a more serious case of thyroid cancer, which is, I hear, how thyroid cancer goes a lot of the time. I made her a sport weight version of a Stephanie Lotvin cowl. I don't even remember which one. I made it really fast, and I made a bunch of alterations to the pattern because there was one section I really liked, so I just knit it for a long time, and then I knit some bobbles, and then I was like, I'm gonna be done. It helped to block it out a lot for sure because it was too tight until I blocked it. I decided to make her a cowl. My husband was saying I should make her a hat, but I hear that people with cancer, I mean, they don't always lose their hair. I hear that their skin and the hair loss, like your head's really sensitive, and I don't know a lot about the like fibers. I don't know a lot about that. It's probably personal to every person, like what kind of hat they would want. But I figured she could cover up any scars that she had, and then if you're struggling with like warm and cold, it's nice to have something smaller around your neck. So we mailed that to her. Still thinking about her a lot because she's still going through treatments. I mean, hopefully they're going okay. Next, I made birthday socks for one of my volunteers. I have a church job, so one of my piano players, her birthday was in May. You can't even see it. This is what's left. It's like a grayish, brownish color. I probably made her the Moose and Lichen ones. I'm pretty sure. It's been so long that I don't remember at this point. After that, I made this shirt. This is the Luminos tee by Yamagara. It is such an interesting construction. You start by doing like a tab cast on here as if you're gonna knit like a triangle shawl on each side. So these are like 2 triangle shawls, and then once you have the triangles, you join it. This has been in my drawer, that's why it's all wrinkly. And then you join it, and then you have these like stripes. I changed and like added the stripes in a different way to use up. This was the last of my birthday yarn, as I'm calling it. The last of my birthday yarn is in this patch. And then this is the Swan Song set by the same dyer. Again, I forgot their name. You could possibly find some of their stuff like floating around in people's stashes or maybe in some brick and mortar stores. But as far as I know, like as soon as I discovered them, she made like a Instagram post and was like, I'm gonna stop dyeing. And I was like, but I love your stuff. So I had to buy one of her last sock sets. I made myself this shirt. The blue here is crocheted. Yeah, these are knit, and then the blue around the edge and on here. I was like obsessed with the shoulder when I was looking at the pattern. I thought it was like color work, but there's like a crochet line through here and around the edge. Looking at this, I know I need another one. I have like a pastel ball of yarn that I could use to make another one of this if I had enough like contrast colors. So I might need to make a second one. This is my rainbow one. It's really, really, really fun. I recommend this designer a lot. The patterns are pretty well edited, like it's pleasant to look at on the page, which is not the case for most of the things that I knit. Sorry, I'm like climbing all over the place in this video. I'm trying to show you the garment. I'm trying to like keep the garment in frame. So the front of it and the back of it are exactly the same. I have like a tiny little piece of blue back there to like notate for myself which side is the back of it. I completely ran out of these yarns. Like the bind off is a little tight. I think the ribbon's even shorter than it was supposed to be because I ran out of yarn. So, oh my gosh, I can't wait to wear this more this like spring and summer. I could wear it with like a jacket around it in the winter even. It matches this, it matches my green pants, it matches jeans, it matches black. Like, this is great. This is so good. Look at this. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. Oh my gosh. I need to wear this more. Next, I made my friend a sparkly double thick stockinette hat out of this Love Story color. That's on the one that's on the very, very end of this blanket. Spoiler alert. So, you can't really see that. It's in a video from the summer. So, there you go. Made her that hat. And then I made my cousin socks out of this cream colored Knit Picks yarn with orange and purple speckling on it. This is the scrap that I have left to show you. I don't remember what I did with the rest of this. I must have used it in something. I don't know. I used some of the scraps in something else. I don't even remember what pattern I used for her. Next, I made my mom, I gave it to her like this winter. I made her the Pluck Cowl by Stephanie Lotvin. I made her send me a picture of it today so you could see. It is very much like an analogous color scheme. It has some navy blue. I had like a mini that I ended up using up, and then most of it is just from this like solid blue color. And then I had a really light color that I use for the color work. So that was good to use some scraps and to work out some things that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. She helped pick the pattern. She wore it for her Christmas party or whatever like she was planning on, so that was definitely a success. Then I made my cousin some socks out of this light gray color. I think this is a Goosey Fibers, but I got it secondhand, so it's pretty old. You can't really see, but there's many beautiful like rainbow, like multicolored flecks in this one. Oh, the lighting is so bad. I've got some natural light. It's just like a really weird light because it's snowing right now and it's winter. I'm sorry, the light's not going to be good. I'm really sorry. After that, this I made in the spring, summer. I can't tell if I have it on backwards. I love that the ruffles on the neckline is like less ruffly than this other one. This is the Campanula Tee by Anna Herman Sorensen. I ended up going back and ripping all the way back to here and not doing any decreases because my first version was too tight. So I went back and redid it in September. It's still very, very tight, which is how it's supposed to be. This is made from 3 balls of Knitting for Olive fingering weight in the color Unicorn Purple. I ended up like entirely using up the yarn. It was a lot of work to keep the rib nice. Like you have to stop and like tighten the stitches a lot. And you can see like this single row of knit stitches isn't like perfectly clean, but the further away I get from like having finished it and having remade it, the more I'm able to love it again, because like remaking it was really not very fun. I had to boil water in the stove and like steam the yarn over it, let it dry, wind it all up again. It was kind of fuzzy. Like once you've knit up Knitting for Olive, I feel like it's hard to, at least like the fingering weight, it's really hard to reclaim it because it's pretty fine and pretty, I'm used to sock yarn, which is more durable, and this, like, you have to take more care of the fiber than you do with sock yarn, and I'm pretty aggressive on my yarn. I love the shaping on this. It's a saddle shoulder, but it's like a continuous saddle shoulder, I think. You don't have to like pick up at all for it, as far as I can remember. Look at this, like, it's like a 15 stitch repeat on the rib. It's so pretty. I love. So I'm super ready to wear all of my spring stuff that I've made. This year we're gonna wear our spring stuff. We're gonna wear our spring stuff this year. We're gonna wear it. You better hold me to it. You better say, where's your vlogs of you wearing your spring knits, Marissa? The next garment I made myself, I'm wearing the wrong kind of bra for this today, but this is the Summer Court Tee by Dragon Hoard Designs. I ended up ripping it back and knitting this part. I think I wasn't at gauge with the lace, or something was just wrong. I was using the wrong needle. I ended up going back and casting on like the smallest size for this section. And then I did like a combination of like some of the V-neck, but not like a super deep V as far as I remember. So this part is a 50-gram ball of Plant Dad by Goosey Fibers. My husband's very much a plant dad. There's like plants all over our house. I don't help with them at all. So I was gonna make him socks with this, but it's not very masculine. Plus I made him a lot of green socks already. And 50 grams isn't enough for like man socks. Normally I use like 70 grams for his socks. So I also had some teal beads to use up. So I had this pattern saved for a long time, and then these are his actual sock leftovers. All the leftover beads I put all over the straps, and that's one of my favorite things about this. I don't think I even followed the directions on the straps. I don't know how I did this. I might have double knit them. I don't know. I can't remember how I did the strap. I'm so sorry. And then in the back I have a little bit of gray, because I ran out of the green yarn. So these are sock leftovers. It is very much like a nice little summer shirt. Can't wear it to work unless I put like, I have to wear a cardigan over it the whole time, but you know, it's really, really pretty. Also, it's way cuter when I have the right bra on, but yeah, this is definitely a win. I would say out of all the tank tops I've made, this one is the most successful as far as the fit and being like actually cute and wearable. So yay, thank you so much, Dragon Hoard Designs. And it was a lot of fun getting more into beading again this year. This might have been the first project I used my Fleagle beater on, if I remember correctly. So that was like definitely a learning experience for sure. Okay, so at this point last summer, I had a bunch of sock scraps. I guess I must have done the socks first though. This is like a blue and tan sock. I'm pretty sure there isn't any nylon in this. It feels too smooth. It just doesn't feel the same as my sock yarns. So I don't think this is actually sock yarn. This is the yarn I made one of my aunt's socks with. And then a different aunt has some purple socks that are made from the top color in this purple set that I got. Am I missing any socks? No, I'm not. Those are the rest of the middle of the year. I finished all the ladies in my family, so my 2 cousins and then my 3 aunts. I finished all of their socks from like April until like August. I think I finished them in July because most of them I just brought to my cousin's wedding, and I was like, here. I just like handed them out to everybody. And then after that I needed a sock scrap buster, and both for my Advent and for all of the other socks that I've made for people. And then this Stephen West pattern, it's upside down right now. The Reykjavik shawl, House is a Reykjavik shawl by Stephen West came out. This is the only neck warmer shawl item that I made myself this entire year. I made a couple for other people, but this is the only one I made for myself. So I'm doing great, not making like more cowls I don't wear very often. I wore my fall cowls from 2024 quite a lot in the autumn. So how this works is you start like on this end. I think I started on this end with the green. You start on the end and you knit these parallelograms that are connected to each other. You knit like a whole long stack of those. Then you pick up and do these triangles. And then I decided to leave the top of it until the end. Then you do this brioche section, which is for me is out of the purples. And then the gray in here is my cousin's leftover. I've got black, green from a friend of mine. This is from the 2023 Advent. I've got my berry scrap, and then the last of my orange, and then the brown. All of these are sock scraps. And I could really tell you what most of them are from. Like Advent, my mother-in-law, Advent. It's just a bunch of Advent stuff. I think that's actually the dahlias and not the Advent. The black is from a bunch of colorwork projects I had in the previous year. The orange is from a piano player's socks. Like, it's just, I know what all this yarn is from. This is one of the colors from my mom's socks. Anyway, and then these are a bunch of like pretty neutral Advent 2023 colors. So these are the leftovers from the sweater that you saw from earlier in the year at the top of it. This is so beautiful. I mostly just wear it like a scarf where it's wrapped around my neck like this. And you can kind of see some of the patchwork, but mostly you just see like the wavy edges, which is totally fine. But I have worn this and I will wear this again. Oh no, my hair. Oof, staticky. So this was a lot of fun. Don't mind my cat. This was very fun and it's very beautiful. A lot of people have just made this where theirs is like 4 colors and the house is all matched, to which I say, like, do you understand? Do you understand the inspiration of the project, you know? Like, mine really says the neighbors' houses are not the same colors, you know? It's so fun. This is maybe one of the things I'm most proud of. Look at that. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful way to use scraps. If you have 400 grams, 300 some grams of sock scraps, this is for you. But my struggle was there were quite a few sections, like this top section, and then these like brioche sections, and then the bottom, where you needed like 35 to 40 grams of something. And there's a schematic that points at every single section and tells you how many grams each color is. So if you're gonna weigh your yarn in grams, this project is perfect. It's perfect. It was perfect for me, and it might be perfect for you too. However, you do need probably like, ideally I would say like 5 colors to be like 40 grams, or maybe even a little bit more than that, in order to have the top of it and the bottom of it, the colors like need to make sense and be cohesive, and you need some contrast. I have some pretty low contrast at the top, so it does require like a lot of planning, but there you go for my Reykjavik shawl. I happen to be looking through all of Stephen West patterns, like every single one. I was looking through them alphabetically for some reason. I was just on his Ravelry page, and I don't make a lot of stuff by him. And I made it to this one, and I was like, why haven't I seen this? I need it. I need. And then it was like, this comes out. Like, it wasn't out yet. I had to wait like 5 days from that point in order to be able to make it. I think I was even looking at the schematic before I was like able to buy the pattern. I was already planning my colors. So that was a really fun summer scrap project. It really got me going, ready to keep scrap busting. I've been affectionately referring to these as my husband's Christmas in July socks. There was a Reddit post I bought some yarn from, probably like 4 or 5 total, that had just like already caked fingering weight yarn, no labels. And I showed my husband, there was like 80 of them there. I was like, do you want one of these? And he picked this one. And I was like, that's a Christmas yarn, honey. That's Christmas yarn. And he was like, I just think it looks cool. So I made him these socks. He did actually wear them on Christmas, which was super sweet. They're holding up pretty well. He hasn't been wearing my knit socks as much this year. It's pretty warm in our house. I think we're gonna turn the heat down once we have a college international student that was staying with us, so we had it like pretty warm for her. But maybe he'll wear them more if I turn the heat down. I don't know. And then I've got a couple other scraps. I've got gray and white and maroon stripes with it, and then I had to do a contrast color for the toe because again I ran out of all of these yarns. I had more of the gray, but we decided to do the like redder toe instead of the gray toe. So these are his Christmas in July socks. I'm pretty sure they're 80 stitch. To me, these are huge. Like, these took so long. And the heel, I wanted to mention this like 2-color heel. It's really pretty. That heel is from the Zener pattern from the book Moon and Turtle by Kiyomi and Sachiko Burgeon. So I have that book. It's a nice sock pattern. I've made that pattern before for myself. And there's a balaclava pattern in there that I really like. So that's one of the only books I have. That's my pile of stuff that needs to go back to its owners. Okay, next I made a sweater for my friend's baby out of leftover DK yarns. I think I have like one picture of him wearing it that I can show. It's the Rockin' Robin sweater, but it's the version that doesn't have like a Santa hat on it. I don't know when he's going to grow into it, but it's going to be sometime this winter. So that's going to be very fun. I made myself a fall hat. Like I had made it the previous year, but I took it apart and redid it. And out of this like cinnamon pumpkin kind of colored yarn. And I can't find that hat, which is concerning. I know it's got to be somewhere unless I left it at somebody's house. So I didn't have time to keep looking, but I showed it a couple videos ago in my fall makes video. I showed it for quite a long time, so I'll put up a screenshot for you, and that'll be, I'm really, really happy with it. I usually wear the stockinette side out. It's double-sided, and it has like a rib side and a stockinette side. And I almost got like the amounts exactly right, but it's not maybe 100% perfect. So, pretty happy with that. Next, I made my friend's husband some socks. They were just plain socks. I think I did 76 stitches for most of his. These are from the, I think Barnyard is the name of the dyer, and it's their March colorway from a year or two ago. I'm pretty sure this is also, I got all my sock yarn from like people destashing on the Reddit yarn swap. So if you're looking for hand-dyed yarn at like a little bit of a discount, you can stock yarn swap, but I warn you, it's a dangerous place. And if you have the same taste as me, I would rather that you not and just leave the yarn for me. Thank you so much. So I made those for him. I didn't end up giving them to him for a while. I forgot to send them with a friend who was visiting her. And so they came up, this is actually a funny story. I think my husband was like working at an office out of town, which he doesn't normally do. It was a day he wasn't even working here, which is really strange. But he dug out a lot of our yard this summer to put in like terraces to plant flowers and also to plant vegetables. So he dug out a ton of soil in order to put in like stone landscaping. He did it all himself. It was a lot of work. And he also had dug out the back behind our garage to make, I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm talking about, but you don't know where I am. He had dug out the back behind our garage also to make a garden. So we had like this giant pile of extra soil in our yard. And the last time my one friend and her husband were here, they're also super interested in gardening. And so their property is like in a different part of the state, and their soil's apparently less good than like what we have here. So the last time they were here, they saw our giant pile of soil, and they were like, wow, your stuff is growing great, like I'm jealous of the soil. I was like, you can literally have some of it. So they like, I think they took time off of work and borrowed his cousin's truck, and they drove all the way up here on like a random Thursday. It was cold out too, and I wasn't home either, I was working, and they spent like hours moving buckets of dirt from my backyard into a truck. So like from my neighbor's perspective, one of my neighbors literally like was like, hi, like asked them about it, because they were like, do you know them? They felt like they were like dirt thieves, like dirt gremlins basically. So then I basically I picked up like falafel for us, and I like stopped by and we ate the falafel really fast and like barely talked to each other. I was like, here's some socks, here's this. We like exchanged some stuff we had to like trade off with each other, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of dirt. It was so much dirt that my husband was like, don't let them take more than half of it. I was like, okay, but in my mind I was like, please let them take this dirt away. I don't need this much dirt in my yard, it looks terrible. And they cleared out like 1/3 of it, and it filled the entire bed of a truck. Like an entire pickup truck bed full of nothing but dirt. They spent like 4 hours moving it. That's how much dirt my husband has dug out of my yard and put in a giant pile behind my garage. It was on a pile on the pavement in our backyard for a while. I was not pleased. I was not happy with that. I love the results of the garden though, but you know, the journey of getting there is not so much for me. But I respect him for working so hard and everything. Anyway, so giving him the socks was a part of that very strange Thursday. Yeah, it's just so weird. She's like, we're gonna be there at this time. I'm like, no one's gonna be there. So you can just take the dirt, and here's the code to my house. I'll see you later. After that, I remade this Swancho. This is my magnum opus. It is covered in ladderback jacquard. Let me show you. So much ladders. That's the mild part of the ladders. This is the crazy part of the ladders. The entire thing is 3-color ladderback jacquard color work. This is made out of Haiku Sueño in the colors Dusty Rose, Charcoal, and Caramel. I had to buy another pink and another gray in order to make this. The type of cast off I did at the end is rolling, but like I don't even care. I need to get it wet and try and block it out. And I guess I have the option of redoing the cast off again, even though I'm sure I've redone it like 4 times total by now. I had made the size 1. It was too tight. I'm talking fast because I have a whole video about this where you can go and see me remake it. I think I ended up cutting a lot of the remaking process from my fixing compilation video, but there's quite a lot of it in there as well. But you can go back and dig through my videos and you'll be able to see the first time I made it. This color work is so beautiful. The size 1 was too tight, but I didn't want to buy more yarn. I didn't want to make the size 2. I ended up, the size 1 is 11 of these. Not 11. I ended up doing 11. The size 1 is like 9 of these B repeats, and then size 2 is 12 of them. So I ended up changing it so that I did the math. I think the same version of the collar, and then in the short rows I added some stitches somehow. I went up and did like 11 of these repeats. So it's like a size like 1.75 probably, or what, it would be like a 1 2/3 size version of it. So I finally have some ease around this part of my arm so that I can actually play piano in it. And like when you have shoulders, you want to be able to move your arms, so the collar work you need some ease in the color work at this point in the pattern. So if you're gonna make this, which I recommend you do because it's incredible, you need to put it on try-on needles around this point, mid B, and then like after the B's, and make sure it is not like all stretched out on your shoulders, and then proceed from there. And it's so beautiful. So I mean, just make the size 2, honestly. Unless you're making it for like a teenager or you're very petite, you should make a size 2. This is by Oka Putano, if I didn't say. It's the Herbalist Swancho. The first time I made it, I learned how to do ladder back jacquard. It was so worth it. And it is beautiful and glorious and perfect in every way. I really think of this as a fall piece. Was I able to wear it a lot this fall? I'm trying to think how long. The furnace not working at my office like made it really hard to know what to wear. I think that threw me off a lot. After that, I remade like my lilac t-shirt. I remade these socks from the previous year. I got an extra half ball of the tan yarn, which is Seashore by Goosey Fibers. And this is the pattern, I don't remember the name of the pattern. Reverie. I was thinking it's like something to do with Debussy, and I was trying to translate it in the word. Like rev is like dream. I was like thinking of the wrong translation, but it's the Reverie pattern. I had made this previous year and they were too tight around the instep, so I had to rip them out, and I remade one of them. Like basically one of these socks I knit 3 times and the other sock I knit 2 times, but the cuffs I was able to keep the original cuffs. So I remade those socks. I actually can wear them now and they don't cut off my circulation. So I'm really glad that I did that. I don't know what I'm doing here. I really don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Next, I made a balaclava for my father-in-law. And I made a little packer hat for the same baby, but it ended up being too small because he has a giant head, and that's not my fault. So I don't think it could have covered his ears. But you know, maybe for their next baby, it will be better. After that, I used up more DK scraps by making an emotional support chicken. And she has been named Cello Chick, I'm pretty sure. My church friend is like an orchestra teacher, so the emotional support chicken is emotionally supporting her students. They're like middle school students, so that pattern is by Annette Corsino, but you've probably all seen the emotional support chicken, so you know what I'm talking about. Wait, oh, these are the socks I'm wearing. These are the socks I'm wearing. Next. In September, I made myself these. They're the Dolores socks by Sari Nordland. They're toe up, which is great, and I was trying to use up all the yarn. I still have like 20 grams left, even though I made them really tall. So they have a short row heel. I ended up making a size 2, I'm pretty sure, in these. And then they have a nice crisscrossy cable pattern on top of the foot, and the yarn is really pretty. It's very much like a butternut color. It's like a yellow, purple flecks, orange flecks. And I normally like double up the cuffs. So I knit a pretty tall calf and double cuffs so that I can wear them with boots in the fall. And then you can still see the top of my sock. So those are really fun. Then I made my mother-in-law a hat out of the leftovers from my tassellated pullover, the boucle and the leftover blue. I made her a hat and we gave it to her for her birthday. And she's been wearing it. She's pretty happy with it. She wears all the knits I made her. I've made her a shawl and mittens. The mittens are completely worn out. There's holes in them. And so she wants to save the cuffs because she thinks they're really beautiful. So I'm going to keep the cuffs and reknit just like the mitten part in a different color. I'll be doing that very soon. I have all the supplies all stacked up in the bag ready to go. After that, I made some pumpkins. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna go into the basement to get the pumpkins. But you'd have to, if you want to see some pumpkins I made from free patterns with leftovers, you can go back to my fall video and look at them. Here is the Brava Stripe blanket by Yay for Yarn. This is a free pattern. She's looking at me as I hold this up. This is a blanket I made out of hat leftovers for my cat. It is really ugly, but really beautiful at the same time. And let me just grab her so you can see the cats, okay? This is a blanket for Rosie, the cat, and I have it on her bed in the hallway upstairs, and she does actually lay on it. Come here. Come here, baby. Come here. Come here, Nugget. Oh, come here. The people want to see you. This is my cat. She's 6.5, so she's very chill, and she's been like super sleepy recently, right, baby? What do you think of the blanket? You want to get away? Do you like the blanket? Okay, good girl. Whoa. She doesn't really like being contained, but that was the cat that the blanket is for. And she really does use it, so that is excellent. We're really making it through. We're making it through these items. I skipped the first hat I made before the blue one. I made a Curiosity hat by Tori Yu, out of like some leftover magenta yarn and then a ball of sport weight yarn, Headspace, by, I never can remember that dyer's name. It was like the two colors that are from this section were the colors that that hat was made out of. And I gave that to my mom for Christmas, and she's very excited. It matches the magenta color, is the same as some mittens that I made her a couple years ago. So that matches. Next I have more socks. Yay! These, I call them my showgirl socks. I bought these two colors. It's a sock set. I'm having a really hard time remembering dyers' names today. Hue Loco, it's like one of their older like chicken-inspired sock sets. And these are the same colors as the branding for the newest Taylor Swift album. This is the Moths pattern by Elena Malevich. I ended up having to rip apart the heel and go all the way up to and redo the cuffs again and make a size 2 instead of a size 1. But I have like tighter cuffs, and then I went from there. This type of heel where you knit like a gusset in pattern, you have all these increases back here. I don't know if you can see it, but you have increases in the heel, and then you have a short row heel. These are all short rows. And then you just like move on with your life. So you don't have to pick anything up. It's really, really, really well fitted. I'm planning to keep this heel pattern around, keep the pattern accessible, and go back. Maybe I'll write out like what the instructions would be without the pattern. Is this similar to like Fish Lips Kiss or something? I don't know. Can anyone tell me what this heel style is? So this part of the sock is normal, and then you add stitches just here, and then you knit short rows. Anyway, these are so beautiful, and I'm gonna be definitely looking at more of her patterns, because like the B color for this, which would be like the teal, you only need like 40 grams of it. This is mosaic, it's not actually color work. You only need like 40 grams of the inside color. So you can just you can knit like a plain pair of socks with a color and then start like a fresh skein, but use the leftovers as like the inside color of this, and then you get like a bunch of like, you can just have eternal multicolored socks where you keep using the next color as the color B. Anyway, these are my fall socks. I have so many yellow and orange socks. So I'm gonna stop buying yellow sock yarn. I don't need any more yellow socks, you guys. I don't need them. Next, a different type of fall sock. These are tweedy. The last time I washed them, the tweeds really popped out really well. Look, you can actually see the tweeds right now. I used up the last of the orange from those socks to make like these borders in the cuff. And you can't see it very well because this black has cream colors in it. It's pretty variegated. So the variegations look like clouds there. But I did like a moon phases chart on the cuffs of this. And the chart is from the Jacqueline Rivera pattern. I need to wash this because there's something on this swancher right now that I'm like allergic to. So I need to soak it and get it wet and give it 4 days to dry, which is really gonna suck. Anyway, the chart is from the Jackalope Equinox pattern by Jacqueline Rivera, which I made the previous year. And then I like redid the heel. You can see it really well. I had like a tighter cuff and then all these increases for the heel and then the short row heel and then the foot. So these are my, they're like cat inspired, calico, like black cat kind of Halloween yarn. These are my Halloween socks. I don't think I finished them until November though, just being honest. So yeah, that was the next pair of socks that I made, also for me. After that, I used some of my gray and orange and yellow scraps to make a little fall neck warmer cowl thing that I gave to a professor at my work. And then after that, in a similar shape, I made the abstruse cowl for my sister-in-law, and I filmed that as well this fall. I don't have it. She reports that it's like perfect because if you wear a whole scarf, it gets in the way of like zipping your jacket and your hair and everything, but like if you just have something just to keep your neck warm, it doesn't get in the way, and so she reports that it is super handy, which is what we love to hear. The next item that I finished, I've been having a lot of trouble with the edges rolling, so I'm going to have to get a steamer and like, I ironed this actually. The ironing really did help it lay flat. This is a table runner by Hazel Roots. It's the Snowy Forest like Yule table runner. This is the center star. There's beads in it. I used an entire tube of beads. And then there's these like tree patterns. This is the bell section. So it's almost symmetrical. I knit it from both directions to try and make it symmetrical and weigh the yarn, but I ended up like slightly running out of yarn on the second side. It's made from cotton crochet size 5 thread and like this evergreen color, and then the ends have this like ruffly thing. So this is my Thanksgiving and Christmas like winter time table runner. I probably will put it away for next year, and then next year when I have more patience. You can tell like the parts that I've ironed that are sort of laying flat like this are going well, but it just wants to roll up into a tube. So I don't know if I should have, like, I followed it exactly to pattern, so I don't know if I should have like added more stitches to the garter tabs on the edge. I don't really know what's up with that. This is almost 300 grams of cotton crochet thread, and I don't really love making lace, so I'm not planning to do lace next year if I can help it. As little lace as possible. But it was, I mean, I'm glad I did it. It had been a goal of mine to knit a table runner like this, so I'm glad that I was able to meet that goal. We hosted Thanksgiving this year, so I had it ready that week. And I'm just gonna put it away like this, I think, and worry about it next year. Next on my little list, okay, I made these floral mittens. I'm gonna give them away to my neighbor. They're Winter Rosa, like winter rose mittens, and the pattern is only in Norwegian, so I bought it and then I just used the chart. And they're by Toril Agnes Landro. I'm sorry, Toril, if I'm saying Toril. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But these, they're so beautiful. These are leftovers from my Herbalist yarns. I don't have enough leftovers to make a second pair at this point, but I still have quite a large chunk left. I ended up, since there was only one chart and I couldn't read the directions because they were in Norwegian, I had trouble with the second one. I had to duplicate stitch over like these side gray stitches because I didn't mirror the chart correctly. I did it like the wrong way. What I should have done was actually like mirror the image, so that it was like a straight up mirror instead of trying to like the same thing but like starting like a different stitch. Anyway, the second one of these that I made, the decreases were like one stitch off from the chart, so I was like decreasing where I was supposed to, but the chart rows were like not the same. You can tell at the top there that the top of them actually isn't in the same point of the pattern anymore, but you would have, like, you can't tell. So, I don't really love making mittens. I have some mittens I need to remake, and I have some repairs I need to do for some people, for myself and my sister-in-law and her mom. We all have like various mitten repairs I need to do that I might show you in the next month, but I don't really have joy for making mittens. As beautiful as they are on camera, I don't think I'm going to become much of a mitten maker, although it would be really helpful. My parish does a lot of like ministry for unhoused people right now, so it would be, that might, if I could find yarn that I liked that was like machine washable, I think that could be a good option for like some charitable knitting next year, but I don't know if I have enough of a love for mittens to commit to that. The last pair of socks I made for someone else is for that very same sister-in-law as got the t-shirt. This was one of her Christmas presents. I just think of these as like chicken yarn. It was for like one of the blue hen type of, I don't know. It's also by Uloco, but it's from an older collection because I got it once again on Reddit. I have like quite a chunk left, and I have some like the tan seashore leftovers. I'm gonna make some half and half socks with these two leftovers for myself, which I'm really excited about. But I made her another pair of the Moose A. Lechen socks. I think I did 72 stitch ones for her, and I'm pretty sure that I filmed them in my fall wrap-up video, so I just gave her those for Christmas. I made a witch cowl for a different friend of mine. I have some photos of that I can stick in. I also filmed it really quickly. It ended up being like quite a bit larger than mine because the yarn that I picked up in order to be able to finish it, so the red and the gray and the white, I had to buy those because I don't have enough solid colors. I have a lot of variegated yarn. My cat is back. She's playing with her paper and her favorite pink tinsel ball. So if you wanted to sit in lovely, quiet, reflective silence with me, that's not gonna happen. Anyway, so I made this cowl like for her birthday, but I ended up seeing her, it was later that we saw her because they came up to go see Wicked with us, which was a fun time to give her that as a present. Segue, while I was at Wicked, I was working on the stockinette part of this project. This is the Reed pullover, also by Yamagara. I made a size 1. I should have sized up, but if I had, I wouldn't have had enough yarn to do all this color work. You can see this color work is like pretty cropped and pretty tight. And then I went up a needle size on this section to try and make it less loose. I actually knit the entire top and then it was too tight, and then I ripped back to here. 2025 was my year of ripping back and redoing things. I have all this extra fabric here in the underarm, but I think that's fine. I feel like the bagginess here by the shoulders, it's what I need for work. I'm a professional piano player. So the bagginess is helpful for that. It also balances out. Like this is tight. The top of the arm where I did the decreases is tight. And then I started doing I did a bell sleeve where I did 2 increases on each side, like here, and then on the opposite side, for a lot of the forearm, and then the sleeves blocked out a little bit to be like an inch longer than like maybe they could have been, but I've got this like nice like puffy bell sleeve. That was an alteration from the pattern that I did. I was trying to use up all my yarn, of course, and the pattern was supposed to have a turtleneck, and I ended up not doing that. So all of this yarn is Hue Loco, I think, except for like I used up a little bit of a light pink scrap in there. You just can't really see it. Oh, the lighting is getting so bad. We're only like an hour from sunset at this point. So this is the teal that's left over from my showgirl socks, as I call them. This is the mustard left over from the witch cowl. And then this is a mini that came with one of these pink sets. So these are 2 different pinkish peaches, like Hue Loco yarns. I had to alternate rows the entire piece so that you couldn't tell they were 2 different shades. One of them was more of a peach and one of them was more of a light pink. But when combined together, the flecks in them were so similar that like you really cannot tell at all that they're 2 different colors. This is very Christmassy to me. I think it's like the rainbowness of it looks like lights. One of the colors was called Candy Buttons, and the other one, oh, here's the type of, I'm gonna put this with the blue yarn. It's the Blue Langshan was the type of hen, backyard chicken. Okay, here's my Hue Locos. So one of them is Candy Buttons and the other one is Sweet Tooth. So they must be from like some candy collection that they've done. I love me some rainbow flax. Like I'm obsessed with this. Maybe I'll just wear this the rest of the day at this point. I don't know. Again, it looks, I wore it on Christmas with my orange pants. It has all the colors in it. It looks good with jeans. It looks good with black. It just always looks good. The sleeves are really fun. I love the rib at the top. I love that the rib accidentally made a boat neck. Like, I was supposed to pick the top of this up and knit a turtleneck, but I do get really warm sometimes at like family gatherings and like family dinners and stuff like that. When there's a lot of people around, I feel like it gets warm. I don't feel like I need a turtleneck. Plus, this is fingering weight, so it's not super thick or like cozy or anything. It's just a nice like light shirt. So I'm decided I was happy enough with the neckline as it was. I didn't end up having any yarn left over. I used up basically all of it except for maybe like 6 grams on these sleeves. So this was the last thing I finished for myself, I think. That's literally not true. I have Christmas socks to show you. Am I forgetting anything? Nope, I'm not. And then I made myself a really tall version of the Laura socks by Sari Nordland. I got myself this Christmas yarn. It's a like flannel, it's a one-of-a-kind flannel, yeah, cozy flannel shirt, but it's like a one-of-a-kind. It was just like a dyer experiment, I think, and it is by Republica Unicornia. I got it on Reddit, and I have like 10 grams of it left. So this is like 90 some grams. I ended up doing like a ruffle cast on of some kind. I didn't follow any kind of pattern for that. I just cast on like a bunch of extra stitches, and then I did some decreases, and I knit the rib like inside out. I think I don't remember why I did that, because since it's folded over, you really can't even tell. And then I just finished these last night. I ended up putting like the lighter section on the front of the foot so you can actually see the cable pattern. Don't mind my cat. I love like the different flecks in this. It does look a little bit like flannelly, like on the heel, anywhere that there's stripes really. I definitely got some pooling. Pooling with these socks. So, this sock has like a giant red stripes across it, and this sock is mostly cream colored all down the front, and then half of this side is like red. So, I think they look good together and everything. Look at this. They didn't pool in the same way. This one's like diagonal, and then this one's just like stripes. So, started and ended the year with lots of crazy sock pooling. I don't know what to tell you. And then so far, the only project I have on my needles, although like I said, I'm about to start a mitten repair, which I will be sure to film so that you can see it. The only project I have on my needles is, spoiler alert, I got the Goosey Fiber Sound of Music Advent. I'm going to say it again without showing it. So, if by chance you also have that, and you're way behind like me, I mean, it's already over. I've opened and knit up the first 16, and I'm making an anthology throw blanket. And that pattern is by, I don't know who, Helen Stewart. So I'm 2/3 of the way done with this. I just finished 3 purple colors. One thing is that I've added baubles to try and use up more of my yarn. So I saved some of the yellow to put into like a sock cuff for some reason. It was just going to be a lot of yellow. So we've got some tan, yellows, brown, like more brownish tan, peach orange section, and then this like orchid purple section. So this is a circular blanket, which is why it looks like absolute chaos. This is the middle of it, being on my needle still. I don't have a super large size 6 needle. It's probably only like 16 or 20 inches, which is chaotic. So you can see all the baubles that I've added in the middle of it. I think I'm going to end up keeping this blanket on this chair. See, look how well this will match. Look at that. This chair's normally upstairs with the Christmas tree. We just have to keep it down here. So I'm going to probably unwrap the next couple colors and take them for our like New Year's Eve trip with my friends. I'm loving the purple. My prediction is that after this we're gonna go blue and then lots of green to finish it out, maybe with some more tans and browns at the end. Because I think the end is gonna end like in the hills with like the mountains and like the green, you know what I mean? Anyway, so far for 16 colors, it's not at all what I was expecting. If I had wanted to make, these are last year's colors for reference. So for something that I would wear, these colors are like much more my vibe. And then this has a lot of tan in it so far. And then like the yellow is really bright, and these are like brighter pops amongst the tan, whereas this one is like more muted. So I'm super lucky that as I was opening these yarns, I happened to make a shirt out of the ones that I love to wear, and I happened to, like, I started this blanket with just only the tan one opened. And somehow I accidentally guessed like what kind of project I would be most happy with for the colors that I have. So I'm trying not to lose my stitch marker, because this is, I trimmed off like 2 yards of this extra purple yarn to save and do something else with, so that I can, the next row is like closing out one of the lace passages. You can see I've got some circle there. So I'm going to start the next one in whatever my next color is. I'm sorry that like all of those gift knits, I don't have the ability to show them to you or hold them up. I was really bad with my taking photos and like documenting things this year. So I think I might do like a yarn. That was the cat. I think I might do like some kind of yarn stash like update and go over like all the scraps and like what I have and what I might have some plans for 2026. 2026 is crazy. That doesn't even sound like a real year. So I'm gonna try and do that very soon. And January is gonna be cold here, so I have a lot of yarn gift cards. There's gonna be more yarn coming in, more plans, more stuff to do to keep my hands busy. So I will see you very soon with the rest of my blanket. Whatever socks I cast on next, I'm sure it will be something. And I'm gonna make a Vaer sweater in like a lilac color, like a spring version of it. I'm so ready. I've had this yarn for a while now, so that is gonna be a January cast on, and I'm so excited. Happy New Year and take care.